be a librarian.
Madam Librarian. And we'll talk about each song, each piece before I sing it. A lot of the composers, what they did was they took their favorite poets, the poems, and they set them to music. And these are the types of songs that you would have performed in your friends, you know, in your friends' homes, and you know, people came together and collaborated. And it was beautiful, and you know, this was their form of TV or movies. So you know, that was one thing you did is you get together and you listen to a performance, and then you have a big party afterwards. So you want to think about these songs as something very personal. The first piece, Ich liebe dich, or Zartlich, Liebe, by Ludwig von Beethoven. This one's special because, you know, he just came to Vienna when he wrote this, and he's just learning, just like all of you. So he's like 25 years old, just getting his music education with the best composers in the world, all in Vienna. Started studying with Haydn, and he started studying with other teachers too. So Haydn doesn't get all the credit. But he met Beethoven before Mozart before Mozart died. And basically the piece is, you want to think about, it's special because it's so beautiful and it's almost simple. You know, Beethoven's music is extremely complex, but this song is very straightforward. It's basically talking about how much, well, it could be a guy or a girl who loves someone else. It's basically a love story. So in saying that, the big climax of the song, it's saying, basically we're able to share in each other's troubles or complaints. I'm here for you, you're here for me, and God protect you, keep you with me, protect us and keep us both. So it's a pretty emotional song, just like any other Beethoven piece, right? Okay. Ich liebe dich so, wie du mich am Abend und am Morgen, noch war kein Tag, wo du und ich nicht teilten unsere Sorgen. Auch waren sie für dich und mich geteilt, Leid zu ertragen. Du tröstetest im Kummer mich, ich weint in deiner Klagen, in deiner Klagen. Drum Gottes Segen über dir, du meines Lebens Freude. Gott steht zu dir, ermutigt mir, stets unter Haut uns beide. Gott steht zu dir, ermutigt mir, stets unter Haut uns beide. Erhaut uns beide. Erhaut uns So our next song is Franz Schubert on Die Musik, and as you know, he had a short life just like Mozart. And this one was, the lyrics were composed by his best friend, the poem, his best friend Schubert. They were together until the end. I mean, they were really good friends, best friends. And it's basically talking about how art can get you through the worst times, which we all know about this. Goodness. These songs were able to get me through some rough times, just in the 8 months I've been singing. which is Robert Schumann. Remember, he was married to Clara, the famous concert pianist. She really kind of changed the way that people did concerts for piano. She really made it into an art form, just the recital and preparing and just the set that she did. She kind of changed all of that. She was really brilliant. And so Robert, you know, he met her when she was a young child. He was taking composition with her dad. So they were good friends their whole life. But of course, you know, once, you know, Clara, you know, became a teenager, and all these composers from all over Europe, they were so impressed by her. You know, she was kind of a superstar from a very young age. That, you know, their friendship kind of later, as she becomes a woman, blossomed into this beautiful love story. And, you know, they fought really hard just to get married because, you know, her dad was like, you're not going to marry a lowly composer. You know, only the best for my daughter kind of thing. So they had to sue him and they got married. And this song was composed the year that they were married. And so if you look at the lyrics, it's saying, the lotus flower is anxious for the magnificent sun, with her head bowed humbly. She dreams for the night. The moon, he is her beloved. He wakes her with his light, and he unveils her sweetly, her pious flower face. She blooms and glows and lights, and stares into the sky. She blooms and weeps and trembles for love, aching love. So, you know, since they're married, I'm thinking this is a really personal song. And this is Brahms, and obviously we just heard one of his pieces, beautiful. This one, even though it was composed in 1864, it feels like it's leaning towards what happens later in music, wouldn't you say? Like a little bit more like Wagner or you know, almost the atonal, almost. You know, there's like a lot of, it's very advanced, and there's a lot of complex emotions in this. It's the first part of it is saying, you know, it's talking about a nightingale and how beautiful your songs are, your love inflamed songs. And then it's talking about your sweet throat, you call me and awaken love within me. For already the depths of my soul are stirred by your melting cry. So he's like really into this nightingale, which, you know, a lot of the times with these poems, they had to be allegorical, you know, probably a girl that he's in love with, probably Clara. And then it starts to get, the second half of the song is super dark. Like, it's talking about, you know, I can't sleep, I stare up at the sky, and I'm haggard and deathly pale, and I'm crying. And then the last part of it is you know what, just go off, Nightingale, go fly off with your mate, you know. And he's pretty much dejected at the end, like, you know, this isn't gonna work out. So, but that's all happened to us, correct?
Well, actually, it's very much Brahms, because the faithful mate was her husband, Robert Schumann, who was his mentor. We talk about having anxiety all his life. He's in love with the woman, but her husband is his mentor.
Yeah, his best friend.
So go off, fly your shower kisses on your faithful mate.
And of course, you know, he obviously was like, I'm in love with you, and she was like, you know what?
I don't think he ever stated it. I don't think he ever did.
So, we've all had one of those intense crushes in people, so this is kind of like that.
By doing Beethoven, Schubert, Schumann, Brahms, just going to share with you a little, the art song on each one of these wonderful composers. Thank you so much, Patricia. All right. Thank you.